Hey everyone, I'm Joe. Today it's time for me to do a book review of Wintersmith, written by Terry Pratchett. This is a fantasy novel first published in 2006. This is the 35th Discord novel of 41 in total, and the third of 5 set around the character of Tiffany Aching. So, first of all, what is the Discord itself? It is, as the name will suggest, a flat, round, disc-shaped world which rests on the back of 4 very large elephants, which stand on the back of a very large world turtle called Great Chewing, which swims through space as through it was water. It sounds very strange, and it also sounds very fun, which it definitely is. And it works very well for the overall feel and atmosphere of the book. So, first of all, the synopsis of the book. This is the third of 5 around the character of Tiffany Aching. So you will need really at this point to have read at least one of the other Tiffany Aching books, if not preferably both of them, because this would be a bit strange if not, first of all. So, now Tiffany Aching is a young girl. She's about 13 at the start of this book or so. Now, in the other books, and indeed at this point, she realised that she has magical abilities, basically that, she's going to be a witch one day. And she has been learning how to, cope with her witch skills and try to learn from other witches. And, obviously in the previous 2 books she got into adventures and, sort of situations, and that's definitely the case here. Because in this book, at the start, she's learning from a witch called Miss Treason, who she is learning a lot from, although she finds that kind of difficult to deal with, but that's something that I don't want to talk too much about because Miss Treason is a curious character, let's say. And at the very start of the novel, basically she ends up being told that she needs to go into the hills with Miss Treason and observe a very ancient dance, basically around this circle. She's not told exactly what it's for, but it's just something that needs to be done, and in time she will learn what it's about. So she goes along. Unfortunately, something happens. She steps inside of the circle. Now, nothing horrible happens to her. She shouldn't mysteriously get, sucked into another dimension or obviously injured in some way. However, by stepping inside the circle, she does get on the attention of the person who they are dancing for, namely the Wintersmith, which is essentially the spirit or element of winter. It is not a sentient creature or person. It is more of a idea of winter. It's the thoughts of many people, and it's just like this element, this existence of consciousness of thoughts that exists when people think of winter and going into the spring. The Wintersmith exists because of their thoughts. And the Wintersmith, however, when Tiffany steps inside the circle, suddenly has something to focus on for a change, and it becomes rather obsessed with Tiffany and essentially falls in love with Tiffany, because obviously it's a mindless of sorts entity and it doesn't know anything else. So obviously, it could only be obsessed because it doesn't have anything else to focus on. So this starts presenting problems for Tiffany, who, for instance, would prefer the spirit of winter not to fall in love with her. And this starts spiraling outwards and presenting problems. For instance, the spirit of winter gives her some presents while making the snow look like tiny little figures of her, Tiffany Aching, which is a bit embarrassing, frankly, for a 13-year-old to have the snow looking like you. I mean, sweet I suppose, but embarrassing. So this starts spiraling upwards. The wee free men, who are very small, essentially Scottish pixies, they get involved, sadly, or to the benefit of some, because they are fun, but they can get a bit annoying. And other characters get involved, and it's a very interesting and strange plotline. And indeed, the characters are what make this book what it is, because all of the characters are extremely well developed, as they always are with Terry Pratchett. they all work together extremely well, and they've all got their own motivations, psychologies, and fantastic development, as you would expect. Tiffany Aching is the main character. She's young, she's a little bit naive at times, but she's also a little bit wiser than her years. Sometimes though, she's just as naive as you would expect a 13-year-old to be. So her education has been very, sort of sporadic. I mean, she hasn't gone to school. She just merely, for instance, read the dictionary from the start to the finish. So her use of words is rather unusual. And there are a few other things about Tiffany that makes her a little bit different. Least of all, the fact that one of the most powerful witches that's alive, namely Granny Weatherwax, has their eye on her. Granny Weatherwax obviously is from the witches novels, and she's a very powerful witch in her own right. I mean, nobody disputes the fact that she's basically the most powerful witch going. And having her eye on Tiffany makes people think, because obviously if she's thinking maybe Tiffany would be like a kind of like her replacement, obviously, in years to come, that could be an interesting one, considering, you're literally grooming a successor when you're the most powerful of the lot. Interesting. So their relationship is interesting. Obviously, you've got other sets of characters like Miss Treason, and you've got the Wee Fee Men, which at this point I'm not going to deny that I'm starting to lose interest in the Wee Fee Men now, because they are fun, but the problem is they're in so many chapters and their speech is so specific to them. They're meant to be like this amusing sort of archaic Scottish derivative, and they're always about drinking and fighting. It's amusing for a little while, but they're so heavily in the book at this point that they just get a bit frankly boring now. I mean, I'm not going to do it. I mean, some people may like them, and I still don't say I dislike them, but I just wish they were in less chapters than they are. If they're only in a few chapters here or there, I think it'd be a little bit better, personally. Which is actually me saying a negative about this whole book, which is unusual, frankly, to say the least. And as far as the environment or world building goes, that is also excellent, as it always is with Terry Pratchett. This is set around the area called the Chalk, which is an area that you only explore in the Tiffany Aching novels. It is an area which is obviously, the soil is made up of obviously chalky, loamy soil. You have low rolling hills, fields of golden wheat, little copses of trees, farmhouses dotted around, and it's an ideal environment to grow up in, apparently. But it also has some interesting features as well, which I'm not going to go into because I think they're best explored for yourself when you read it. But it's an interesting environment which really works with the characters, because you've got this area that looks gentle and calm, but actually it's not always what it appears. Same as everything in this world, and indeed in life, things might appear calm, or indeed they might appear chaotic. Often that might not be the case, and it's an interesting combination which I really did enjoy. And as far as ideas or themes in the book is concerned, to me this book is very much quite simply about becoming who you think you want to be and trusting in yourself to be that person. Don't think that, oh yes, other people have expectations in you, so you must be this way. Tiffany has that with her. She has people thinking that she'll be something else, especially with Granny Weatherwax, sort of eyeing her up all the time to be a possible replacement. But she knows, or at least thinks she knows what she wants to be. She does have a certain faith in herself, but of course she's young, so she doesn't know everything. And it's that combination of trusting in yourself, but also trusting in yourself to be able to trust others. Because not every, nobody's an island, as they say. You can't do everything for yourself. We are a social species, humanity is. So you sometimes have to ask other people, work with other people, and learn from others, because together we're stronger than we are apart. And that is the other major thing about this book. It's saying that, yes, you can achieve amazing things by yourself, but if you actually talk to other people, learn from them, and maybe work with them, you can actually achieve some better things, and you know, things will work out hopefully a bit better than they would otherwise, which obviously is something that I greatly like. And of course I'm very much the sort of person that I like team-based activities, so this book saying that, you know, things work out better when you work with other people works for me very well indeed. So overall, this is a very well written book with a really interesting plotline, fun and very heavily developed characters, interesting world, and some interesting ideas and messages that are within it. And overall, I would recommend this, but not as your first Discworld. You need to have read, personally I would say, definitely the other two Tiffany Akings. You could read the Tiffany Akings as purely by themselves. You could read them as first, second and third Discworld novels respectively if you want to do stand on by themselves. But definitely not this one as the first. It would be strange, to say the least. And with that, that is it for this review. If you would like to talk to me about this book, or indeed would like to learn more about it, obviously I will try to answer the best I can, then please leave a comment. If you have any thoughts about any other Discworld books, then obviously leave a comment as well. The link to this book on Goodreads, as well as all my social media links, can be found in the description box below. And with that, that is it for this video. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you another day. Bye for now.